I'm really sorry about that. Good evening to everyone, and welcome to the West Ham Weekly. I had a massive technical hitch. I actually thought the camera was off, and then I looked up on the top there, and it said end broadcast, and I thought, well, better not to leave you with a completely blank screen. Mind you, it was virtually that anyway. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the West Ham Weekly. Got a lot to go through, and I've already wasted 20 minutes of your time as it is. Mind you, it's not as if I'm on mute, just to make sure. So I might as well get into the chat because you lot have been waiting for quite a while. So let's have a look. Good evening to you, Dabs. How are you? Why is everyone panicking? We've got Masuaku. Yeah, most overrated player. I agree with you. Good evening to you, Neil. I hope you're well. Hammerat. It's gone back again. It has. I didn't realise I was on, off, whatever. Who knows? Hello, you lucky people. Good evening to you, Pat. I hope you're well. That was short and sweet. Sorry about that, Howard. It was rather short and sweet. 1 minute, because something else is gonna bug my my Wi-Fi if I don't turn that off. Evening, Pat. How are you? Saying evening to Pat. Who else have we got here? Good evening, Pashbeat. How are you? Sorry, I'm so late. P Gads, how are you? No under 23s needed. BJ Dawson and Cressy at the back with Sufal. King Arthur. We'll get onto that a little bit later, shall we? Are we going to a back three? I'll talk about that in a little while. You can't stay. Oh, you've come and gone quicker than me. Chris, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Hope you're all still watching. Yeah, slight technical hitch. Good evening to you, Yuha. Adam, how are you? Epic, still no problem. No one here, though, it would start on time anyway. That's so true. That is so true. If I'd started on time, you lot would have expected me to start half an hour later. And I did. So there you go. Good evening to you, Green Streets. How are you? I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Good evening, Mark. How are you? Faye, how are you? Thank you for joining. Sorry, I'm so late. Hammerette, I'd be happy to give a laissez shot on Sunday. Yep, well, let's get on to that a little bit later on, shall we? Good evening to you, Jovi. I hope you're well. Daniela, hi to you. Has anyone seen the Cameron Hugh post where they say Rice has agreed with the club to stay on this one? Let's get on to that. I'm not doing transfers or any speculate. Well, not a lot of it anyway. We always knew he was going to stay, didn't we? You know, no problem there. Happy Hammer, how are you? Everyone hope all is well. Still late again. Not actually late. Technically, I had a problem. There you go. Good evening, WHU. That's what I love about Stel's channel. Unpredictability. Could have kept you waiting until tomorrow if I really wanted to. Pash, get a dishwasher. You're taking too long doing the wash. Good evening, Ashley. How are you? Thank you for joining. Stuart. So I'm going to be late for my Mr. Bean train ride home from Chelmsford to Witham tomorrow. Stuart, I love you, mate. I just never know what you're talking about at times. So there you go. Good evening to you, Kimbo. Black Country, how are you? Let's scroll down. Because I've already kept you waiting so long, haven't I? And everyone's talking about who they think is going to play in place of Diop. We'll talk about all of that in a few minutes. Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Darren. I hope you're both well. Stell's getting his no, no. Trust me, I'm not. I'm sitting here fretting and sweating because nothing was working technically. There you go. That's life, isn't it? That's life. Stella's on the porcelain princess. No, I wish it was that easy. Me having a dump. There you go. Good evening, Raymond. West Ham saying nothing yet on Diop. Well, weird because everyone else is, and yet West Ham haven't said so, and yet they came out and said immediately what happened to Zuma the week before last, didn't they? Weird, weird. I wonder if it's all true. Anyway, WHU, you're seeking this, seeking there. Good evening, Yuha. Thank you for joining, mate. Who else we got? James Bong, how are you? Lee, hello, mate. I hope you're well. We are massive. London is claret and blue. It absolutely is. Good evening, Martin. Did you think I wouldn't track you down? I hope you're well. I'm glad you did, mate. I hope you're well, and thank you for joining. Good evening, Ashley. Can anyone work this out? Wolves played the last game on 8/4 and will not play again on the 8th of April and will not play again until the 24th. That's 16 days rest. They could finish half. Interesting. They might be rusty all those days rest. Isn't that because of all the rearranged matches and they were the teams that I don't know. But interesting. But may not be all that good for them. Chris, good evening to you. Is the Diop story true? As far as I know, do you think the under-23s will get a shot? We'll talk about that later. Look, apparently we've been told. Well, a number of us have been told that there is a problem with Diop, but the club itself hasn't said anything. Good evening, Anil. I hope you're well. I hope it's not true, but I think unfortunately it is. Good evening, John. Series Air. Two channels in one night. Good evening, Vinay. Man United losing. See, there's still hope. There's still hope. They're playing Liverpool, aren't they? Adam, we need to play the players against Chelsea so they get used to the system for Europa League. Interesting, because I always thought at the start of this season we have two teams. Well, we don't have enough players for two teams now, do we? Good evening, Hammerhead. I hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. So let's crack on, shall we? Because I've got a lot to go through. And the first thing I want to discuss really is that we were celebrating. Well, we were fans paid tribute to Dylan Tombidis in the game before the game on Sunday against Burnley. As many of you may or may not know, Dylan died at the age of 20 on the 18th of April 2014. He was regarded as a great future talent and was given his first team debut under Nigel Khan's favourite manager, Sam Allardyce, in 2012. Dylan also represented Australia in their under-23 squad and was widely considered to have a great international future as well. After his death, the Tombidis family set up the DT38 Foundation in 2015, and it is a principal charity partner of West Ham United. At the heart of DT38's work is to encourage men and boys to check themselves regularly for any abnormalities. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but it's always best to sort of have a little feel down there and make sure that everything's in working order. Testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer amongst young men in the world, and early detection is critical in increasing the chances of survival. Why am I saying all this? Well, it was the anniversary of Dylan passing away, but also there to promote the Awareness Below the Belt event, which is on the 13th of November. Now, this is the fourth Awareness Below the Belt event. It's a flagship annual fundraiser for the charity, which supports raising awareness of testicular cancer. Now, what it is basically boxing matches. No boxing experience is necessary, but they are searching for men and women who would like to join and sign up for the Awareness Below the Belt event, which is going to be at the York Hall in Bethnal Green this coming winter. Contestants will be carefully matched against people of similar weights for their charity bout, which will be supervised by officials from the prestigious Peacock Gym White Collar Boxing Foundation. This plus other special events are being held, organised by the charity, and it has a number of celebrities that support it: Declan Rice, Carlton Cole, Bianca Westwood, and so on. And if you're interested and you want to join, go to dt38.co.uk for more details of that charity event. Very worthy cause indeed. What else is coming up? Another bit of general news. Well, you've got the Player Awards coming up very, very soon. Going to take place on the 9th of May. You can call the club London on the number that's on the screen to book your tickets for this event, which will be held at the 5-star JW Marriott Grosvenor House Hotel on London's Park Lane. Look, it only costs £325 per person per ticket, or you can get a discount by having 10 people at a table for £3,100. The event will climax at the crowning of the Hammer of the Year. And it also is an opportunity to say goodbye to Mr. West Ham, of course, Mark Noble. It would be his final event as a West Ham player. Places for the evening include a 3-course meal, exclusive gift. Don't know what the exclusive gift is going to be, but I hope it's good for 325 quid. Entertainment and the chance to hear from West Ham heroes, past and present. So get cracking, get phoning. Do it after the show, though. Look, I'm joking. It is expensive, but it's a great opportunity to see the current players. A great opportunity to say goodbye to Mark Noble. Seeing the crowning of Hammer of the Year, which many think is going to be, yeah, I've forgotten his name already. Craig Dawson. If you're interested, do phone the number after this show. Well, they're closed now, so do it tomorrow. Right. What else have we got? Let's go into the match reviews, shall we? Last Thursday, West Ham United. I was privileged and very, very lucky to be there with a number of mates to watch the game. It was an absolutely fantastic 3 days. I thought coming back from Seville, I was on sort of cloud 9, and I thought, well, what's going to top that? Seville's a beautiful city, and Lyon is okay, but when it comes to the game itself, hands down, the game against Lyon. As important as the Seville game was away, the game against Lyon was just outstanding, absolutely outstanding, and it was just a joy and an absolute pleasure to be there and see it unfolding. Before the game itself, Stuart Pearce laid tribute to Marc Vivien Foe, who played for both Lyon and West Ham United. He laid the shirt down on the centre circle of the Stade de Galande, which was Lyon's old stadium, as a tribute to Foe, who collapsed and died whilst playing for Cameroon in 2003. In the build-up to the most important game in West Ham's history, I reported last week that West Ham fans had, we're going to see something special, but for Pearce to have done that at the beginning was just a classy thing to do. So West Ham fans were out there in force, and we all started to hear 2 or 3 days before the actual game itself that many fans who bought tickets in the home end were unfortunately messaged and told that those tickets were going to be cancelled when they found out that they were West Ham fans. However, having said that, I salute the number of fans that did actually manage to make it into the home end. We were right at the end of the away end on one side, around the corner. And there was barriers and mesh and all that sort of stuff to separate us. And about halfway through the game or so, we saw a whole pile of people sort of all going up to the top of the stadium, all getting together. And my initial thinking was, what's going on? Looks like Lyon fans are getting ready to sort of do, to try and charge us or something like that. And then they all started singing West Ham songs and started doing the Hammers sign and everything, and it was fantastic. So I salute you for having managed to get there and get in and support the team. Absolutely fantastic and well done to you. And there were a number of other West Ham fans who were on the other side of the stadium where we were, who were on the lower tier. And I think this was friends and family, because when Bowen scored his goal, you could see the fans behind clapping and cheering. And I think that was the family zone, because he was going over and sort of clenching his fists at in celebration. And I think we had a small number of fans there, and I wish we were there, because we had mesh in front of us, and it was like trying to take videos was really, really difficult, and watching the game it was okay. We could see what was going on, but it was quite a distraction, especially when you're wearing glasses as well. Of course, we also saw some ugly scenes after the game where the Lyon fans tried to storm the pitch, and the West Ham players were being ushered off. Well, the Lyon players were also being ushered off as well, because they were trying to get through this kind of fencing that they got in order to get onto the pitch. But they weren't happy with that, so they started burning their seats as well. They had a little bonfire behind that goal, because they lost. And wow. I mean, there goes us running on the pitch and putting a corner flag in the centre circle. This lot start burning the bloody stadium down. That's how upset they was. And there were problems afterwards as well. The Lyon fans weren't dispersing, and apparently the riot police had to use tear gas to keep them at bay. And we were kept in the stadium for something like about an hour or so, and over an hour, until the buses turned up and took us all back into the city centre, where it was actually quite pretty quiet as well. But you know what? That aside, it was a wonderful day leading up to the game. We picked our tickets up at a hotel which was quite bloody far away. Thank you for that, West Ham. And when we got into the centre of the town, and taking over most of the bars around converging around one sort of area, and the atmosphere was good. The atmosphere was superb, and credit to credit to the West Ham away fans, because many more turned up than had tickets, and many were left behind in the bars, etc., watching the game on screens and so on. And also credit when the game started, or before the game started, credit to the Lyon fans, who created quite a good atmosphere for their team as well. They had fans either side of behind the goals, and they kind of like communicate. They were chanting to each other, sort of spurring each other on, and it did cause quite an interesting and lively atmosphere. And you would have thought, if that was at home, if I was a player, from the Lyon team, I would have used that as inspiration, but it didn't seem to work for them. And do I care? No, their problem, not mine, or not ours. We saw the team line up. We knew what was going to happen. Areola was going to be in goal. Soufal, brushed off the cobwebs and was back at right back. But Glenn Johnson, as we knew, was in for Creswell, who was suspended for the game. And then, it was a matter of who was going to play alongside Fornals, Bowen, Antonio, etc. And it was Lanzini who took his place in the starting lineup. Areola, he's been a fantastic servant for West Ham, I think, this season, especially in Europa League, and you can't fault him for what he's produced. I mean, he only had one major save to make, and he did that, with a plum, really. The game, as we know, was first 20 odd minutes was really all Lyon, to be quite honest with you. But they weren't breaking us down. We were quite resilient. We were quite good in defence, and we held them off. And then on the 38th minute, oh, fantastic corner by Pablo Fornals. And I mean, Dawson, it was his ball. No one else was going to get in his way. The bullet of a header, to drive that in. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the guy just to the left of him, in between him and the keeper, is Dembele. Wow, can't wink everything, can you, Dembele? It was a fantastic goal, and the fans just went ballistic. 1-0 up on 38 minutes. We kind of felt a little bit apprehensive, because, like I said, the first 20 odd minutes or so, were they had a bit of the upper hand. And then just before half time, Declan grab in the second. I mean, it was a weird shot because it wasn't a hard shot, and we were shouting at him to shoot, and he did. And I think it got a deflection just off the defender, just in front of the keeper, and it just bobbled over the keeper's head. And then Declan running over to the fans, the away end, cue the mayhem. I mean, 2-0 up away from home in the Europa League's quarter final. And and I know he did all this. He was kissing the badge, etc. I think he means it. I sometimes look at the way Declan celebrates, and you could see he's proud, he's happy, etc. And and sometimes I get a little bit, oh, you shouldn't kiss the badge if you don't mean it, sort of syndrome. But I think he means it. I think he's loving what's going on uh, at the moment, and why not? Why not? It's been a fantastic season, even if it doesn't go any further than the semi-finals. It's been fantastic, and he's been right at the heart of it all. And then the pièce de la résistance. I mean, Bowen scoring 3 minutes into the second half. We went mad. Absolutely. I've never heard a stadium so quiet because we just, apart from the noise that was in the upper tier of 3,000, 2,800 fans, however many of us there were, we went absolutely ballistic, and it was just superb. My heart was beating 10 to a dozen already, and like when that went in, it was like, good grief. Good grief. Look what's happening here. Away from home, and where, Lyon were in the champion. They play Champions League football, and we've beaten a number of teams who have played Champions League football throughout this tournament, and we haven't looked out of place. Despite the fact that we have such a small squad, we haven't looked out of place, and it was just absolutely, superb. And of course, this man must be pinching himself every morning. Not more than 2 seasons ago, he was languishing as well. He wasn't even in the first team at Watford, was he? He was like a reserve or someone. He was always on the subs bench or whatever. And he is our new Ginger Pele, isn't he? He is on the new talisman of West Ham United. Hammer of the year. Well, I think he'll deserve it as well. But he must be waking up every morning, 32 years of age. Nobody fancied him. David Moyes brought him in. Even I slated David Moyes, saying, "What the hell are you doing? Bringing in someone like that in, what's going on, etc., etc." £2 million. Fourth choice centre back has become first name on the team sheet, and it's just absolutely superb to see. And he must be waking up every morning going, "I'm in the semi-finals of the Europa League, and we're sitting in the top 6, top 7 of the Premier League." Mate, all credit to him because he has been absolutely superb. All the other players as well. The much maligned Issa Diop had a fantastic game against Lyon last Thursday. And I'm going to talk about Diop in a little while as well anyway. Jared Bowen, who's back to his best. Lanzini looked all right. Did what he had to do. Declan, we know what Declan's like as well. It was just a superb performance, a superb night, a superb 3 days, out in Lyon. And long may it rain. And yes, I'm going to Frankfurt. And let's hope we get the same result there. After the game, of course, excuse me, mind the cat. After the game, of course, UEFA just couldn't believe that we did this without cheating. I mean, UEFA tried to cheat us last week, didn't they? When they gave us that dodgy referee, and then they had to test these two dope test these two to find out if there was anything in their blood, which made them perform so well. Fuck me. We did it on merit. We're one of the most honest football teams I've seen for a long, long time. And they weren't going to find anything in these two apart from true Czech blood and some water. There you go. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic moment. It was a great occasion all round. Now on to Frankfurt. Later on in the show, I'm going to talk about a little bit about Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm a little bit worried because if Nigel is watching, I know I'm going to get my history wrong about Frankfurt and he's going to slate me, but I'll do my best. And as we all know, the game is on the first leg is on the 28th of April at home. I hope you're managing to get your home tickets, and then the away leg on the 5th of May over in Frankfurt. It's and because of that, we've had a few changes to some fixtures. The Norwich game is now on the 8th of May at 2 p.m. Kickoff. But you know what? Sorry about this. Small price to pay, I say, for progressing into the semi-finals of the Europa League. And boy, oh boy, it is just a fantastic feeling. Right, let's go into the chat before I go into the next part of the show. Let's scroll up a little bit. How far should we go up? Let's do that. Pash. Sufal stand on the pitch waving one of Lyon's red flags, basically saying "fuck you, ultras." He was. They were throwing things at the players as they were ending the game. They were throwing things at Antonio when he got subbed, and also throwing things at Declan as well when he got subbed too. Jovi, even when we went into added time, she still kept them crossed. Who kept them crossed, Jovi? Sorry, I haven't gone far up enough. So my apologies if I haven't read some of your comments that are further up. Howard Ballon Dawson, yeah, absolutely. Hammerette, I'm trying my best to go to Frankfurt. Have to experience this. It looks amazing. Seeing everyone's videos gives you goosebumps watching them. Even if you don't get a ticket for the game, the atmosphere. There were a couple of lads that were with us, and they didn't have tickets for the game, but they said the atmosphere in the bars and everything was just superb. John, people don't forget to like the video. Thank you very much. Do like the video, subscribe to the channel. It would help me immensely. And thank you, John, for reminding everyone. John, is Dawson our most valuable bargain basement buy ever? Got to be, hasn't he? It's got to be. Absolutely. Dabs. I hope when we lift the Europa League trophy that Dembele will be watching, sitting at home with bruised legs from those Dawson tackles. Did you see the one when Diop flattened him and just sort of looked up and walked away? And we laughed. We laughed. We laughed. He deserved it. Jovi, anyone else hoping to get their ticket tomorrow at 4? Fingers crossed for you, mate. I really hope you do manage it. Hammerette, I've heard that a lot of Lyon fans are going to miss their game this coming weekend. They really aren't happy with the team's performance. Well, they missed the last one, and I think they won 5-1 or something because they all boycotted the game. Who cares? Who cares about them? I only care about West Ham. Anil, Rice goal was the moment of the match, followed closely by the Bowen cracker. Every moment was the moment of the match, mate, in all honesty. Don B, good evening to you. Evening all, glad you're back. Thank you very much. I had no idea. Just resubscribed and look forward to the following. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you finding me, mate. I appreciate that. Raymond, a few snails got cracked open. Dabs, if we win Europa, does 4th place not get champion? You know what? I was trying to read up on that, but as I always do, I ran out of time. So there's so many connotations as to who gets what. My understanding is, no, I better not say it. I'll promise you, Dabs. I promise to do 2 or 3 shows this week, so I will look into that particular aspect and make sure I give you as accurate information as I possibly can. John, Dawson Hammer of the Year for me. We know you love Dawson, mate. Faye, love Dawson's fluffy nuts. How do you know he's got fluffy nuts? Faye, I thought better of you. Pat, David Moyes is our best manager for years. David Moyes is actually our best manager, full stop, despite, the legends, etc., that manage this team. But he could actually be the best manager all round. But I'm sure Nigel will correct me on that as well. Howard, let's say au revoir to Lyon and guten Tag to Frankfurt, Fräulein Ameret. Good evening, James. Sorry I'm late. Trust me, mate, you're not. You're not that late. So, welcome. Hammerette. I remember thinking, what's the point of wasting a loan on a double relegated has-been who sits on the bench? So proud of the way he's come on and been the mutts nuts for us. He has. Dawson has been superb. Martin, big Dawson fan. Good old school centre half. Fantastic. Absolutely. Still slinging pussy. Yeah. James, I've been proven wrong, but we all have. We've all been proven wrong about Dawson. Cockney Buccaneer, good evening to you. Would like to hear Moyes' reasoning for bringing in Dawson. Did he know much about him? Was it just to make up numbers on the cheap, or did he know something else? I think maybe, this is maybe what Moyes is good at. Moyes is good at finding diamonds in the rough, from lower leagues, and maybe he did see enough of him to know what Dawson had to offer. But I bet you, even Moyes didn't think that Dawson would deliver as much as he has done. And absolutely fantastic. 8 Barley, 3-0. See, there's always a silver lining to us drawing at the weekend. Man United are losing, so it's all to play for. All to play for. Dabs, Man U's goal difference right now is looking good for us. There you go, exactly. James, but Ballon d'Ors is nothing more than a championship player, apparently. Gosh, with some nunties. Hey, hold my hands up. I said the same thing about him. I said, he's championship level at best. How wrong was I? I don't know anything about football anyway, so there you go. WHU. Dawson's my hammer of the year, but Bowen and Rice deserve immense credit for their performances this season. Ironically, WHU, Bowen for me was my hammer of the year, early stages, and the injury, an unfortunate injury, kind of made you start looking at other players like Dawson, etc. Um, I'm not going to read that out, Pat. Man, no, and there you go. I read that one out instead. Darren, man, you getting bum rate. Cockney Buccaneer. Did Zuma just boot a I damn boot the cat because I'll get booted myself by the mum. Anil, people forget that Moyes was central defender for Celtic, decent. Yeah, and maybe that's why he recognised something in Dawson that none of us did. He was a central defender as well. Hammerette, I'm going if I can. I'm still going if I can, regardless of tickets. We'll see you out there, Hammerette. Dabs, Nathan Holland's team versus Connor Coventry's team right now. What's the score in that? Daniela, I'm going to the fan club for both games. The fan club, what the one in Stratford? Are you going for that? Are they going to show it? Because all the people that run the fan club are usually over at the game themselves. Green Street, I'll go to Frankfurt with your spanneret. There you go. You got company. Tony Hammer Ryan, good evening to you. I'm worried about Frankfurt fan total nutcases. Well, a couple of silly lads, tried to attack a bar in Seville that was full of middle-aged, men, and a couple of youngsters, and I don't know that. They don't come with a massive bad reputation, to be honest. They just tried it on in Seville. Rather silly of them, to be honest with you. Hammerette, Dabs, I believe it makes no difference. We can't knock Spurs off fourth. We don't care about Spurs. Daniela, if we win Europa, we will be one of the seeded teams. We will indeed. Imagine going into the Champions League as a seeded team. God, Dabs, Hammerette, only 4 teams can qualify for Champions League from the same league, and if we win Europa, that's 5. So Tottenham don't qualify. I think that's correct, but I think I've also heard that someone else saying the reverse of that. Jovi, 4th still gets Champions League regardless of win. There you go. So it must be 5 then. So this is why I'm hearing conflicting things. So I'm guessing it's 5 teams that will go through. Need teams around us to drop points. Man United are helping us out, Ashley. 1-0 to Oxford. Who scored? Daniela. Now we can have 5 teams in Champions League. The only way 4th misses out in Champions League if Champions League winner which finishes outside of top 4. There you go. You know more than I do. Right, let's move on to the next part of the show. And the next part of the show was, coming down from cloud 9, the game on Sunday against Burnley. And, to try and get us in the mood, of course, West Ham introduced legend Carlos Tevez to the fans, and a lovely little gesture it was as well. And he looked good. He looked good, didn't he? Can't we sign him? Is he a free agent? Can't we sign him up for the final few games of the season? I bet he'd fucking get about a half dozen goals, even with only a few games left. I bet he's still capable. What is he? 38, 39 years of age? I'd love him to. I'd love him to play for West Ham just one last time. Imagine what he could do for us, eh? But anyway, it was a nice gesture. And in a way, we actually started the game pretty reasonably, to be quite honest with you. Moyes named his team. Fabianski back in goal. He made Jared Creswell was back after his suspension during the week. And he introduced Vlasic. And I didn't mind that. In fact, to be quite honest with you, I would have liked to have seen maybe another couple of changes, perhaps. I would have liked perhaps to give an Antonio a little rest, not start him not from the start, bring him on, during the game or something like that. Ben Rama, I know he came on during the game against Lyon, but maybe I would have started him as well. But all in all, all in all, yeah, 3 changes. Maybe Moyes thought that was more than enough for this game. Um, Now there was around about and then round about the 20 odd minute mark, we were quite up on the game, weren't we? At that point, we were sort of we're in control, etc. And then this bad injury happened, and it was really really bad, really bad. When you looked at someone showed us a picture of Ashley Westwood's leg at half time, and it looked awful. And we do wish him well. We don't want to see players get hurt, especially that badly. And we do wish Ashley Westwood a speedy recovery. But from that moment on, it seemed like the game had changed. And, we saw how Vlasic was affected by it. And we saw Creswell, etc., as a number of our players got affected by it. And it seemed strange that it affected our players more than it affected their players. It seemed to galvanise their players, and it seemed to kind of spur them on, because not soon after that, of course, they went 1-0. They went 1-0 up. And Weghorst, he's a tall fella. We were kind of mentioning it when we were watching the game, and players like Diop, etc., are tall, and Souček is tall, but blimey, Weghorst is like a bloody giraffe. They went 1-0 up, and they then had a bit of they then had a bit of a run of the game, didn't they? And then at the stroke of half time, of course, it was a penalty. It was without a doubt a penalty. But thankfully, Cornet, who's a pretty decent player, and I was asked last week why I don't like him. I didn't say I didn't like him. I thought maybe I just haven't seen enough of him to actually have a proper opinion. But seeing the way he played against us at the weekend, yeah, pretty decent player. I could see West Ham United maybe go looking at a player like that to build the squad next season. But we got back into it in the second half. We played an awful lot better, and as we know, on the 74th minute, Thomas Souček got us back into the game. But for some fantastic goalkeeping by Nick Pope, we would have won that game. Now, we had a debate about what about the last chance that Mikel Antonio had. And some people are saying that it was a great save from Pope, and I'm saying, and when I watched it again on Match of the Day, etc., Antonio, oh, had you not I don't want to put down Antonio, because the way he performed against Lyon last Thursday, was heroic. But then the way he performed against Burnley wasn't quite as great. And maybe that's why I wanted him to maybe start on the bench. Give him a bit of rest. He doesn't have to be in the spotlight all the time. And then, of course, Moyes said, oh, we should have scored, and he missed a couple of chances, etc. And Antonio did. And I'm wondering now, there were a couple of occasions, one in the first half and that chance he had at the end of the game, where maybe if he'd looked up and squared it off, there were players in better positions that might have just been able to tap the ball in. But I'm wondering if it's playing on his mind. He hasn't scored for so long. The last goal he got was on the 1st of January against Palace, away from home. But there was one in the cup. But in the Premier League, the last goal he got was against Palace. And I'm wondering if that's playing on his mind. And now he's so determined to get that goal in order to break that duck. I would rather him do what he did against Lyon, run the flanks, chase players down, do what he does best, use his brute force, etc., and help the team get goals. And if he can't get them himself, it doesn't matter, so long as he's helping the team get goals. And I just wonder on Sunday whether it was playing on his mind too much, and rather than passing when we could have looked up and passed a couple of times, he just wanted to get that goal himself. I understand it. I get why he would like to break that duck, but at the same time, I wonder if it's playing too much on his mind. Right, before we go into the next part of the show, let's see what else we've got. I know, Clive. I know it's you. Sometimes, because I'm so focused on doing this, reading the script, etc., I forget names. I know it's you, mate. I know it's you. Hamret, if a Premier League club win the Champions League, another one Europa League, neither qualify for UEFA competitions through their league positions, or by winning the FA Cup, they will qualify for. I'll do that one later, Hamret. James, if we win Europa still, what does Moyes look to do with the first team? Will GSB back him? Yes, I think they will. Uh, we will be in a much better. If you remember what happened in January, apparently we were going for Phillips and Rafinha and Darwin Núñez and all these players, and we were like, what are we doing? We just need to get some decent players in now to sort of help the squad get through the next game and the next game and the next game. Summertime is a time when you're going to go for these big money players, 50 million for Phillips, and 50, 60 million for Nunes and all that sort of stuff. Don't do it now. Do it in the summer. So I think if we win Europa, I think the board will back David Moyes. I've said it many times before. I'm not a board lover or anything, but I have said it many times before that I think the board have spent money. That it's not that they're shy of spending money. They have spent money. The trouble is, what they've done in the past is they spent it quite. Without a proper strategy, they haven't gone out and bought player or helped managers to buy players for particular positions. It's like a bit of a scattergun approach, and I think that's where we've gone wrong. Whereas Moyes now, because he's got full control of what players he wants in, I think he's going to work with them, and if he wants certain players, I think the board will back him. If we go for £50 million players, etc., we're not going to get the 5 or 6 that I think we all need. We know that we'll get maybe three, a £50 million or a £60 million player. But I think also, and I've been saying it for quite some time, I think we're also going to get a number of freebies. Tarkowski, yeah, he looks actually quite decent. He won't be any worse than the players that we have. He's on a free at the end of the season. Johnston, if we don't keep Areola, I hope we keep Areola. I think it'll be rather foolish if we didn't. And Lingard, of course, many people say, oh, he's going to go to Newcastle for the money. That's 3 free players. And I know they're not free. I know you'll pay a signing on fee, but that'll be a lot cheaper than buying them outright if they, in their pomp. And I think maybe if we get 3 freebies, and then we go out and get 3 players at 40, 50, 60 million pound a pop, then I think yes, the board will back David Moyes, especially if we win Europa League, because the Champions League, look, let's not be silly here. We're not going to go out and win the Champions League, but then no one said we were going to go out and win the Europa League, did they? And we're in the semi-finals, so anything could happen. But yes, long answer to your short question. I think they will back him. Pat, Tevez is 37. He's 22 when we signed him. 37. He could still do it, couldn't he? I would have signed him up. Dabs. David Moyes was spotted. Yeah, get into that later on. James, again, I've had enough of Fab starting Premier League games. It's got to be Areola from now on. I think Areola is proven. Fabianski has been fantastic for us in some games this season, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt. I think Areola is very much the better goalie, to be quite honest with you. Ballon Dawson, I have found Stell. Who's Ballon Dawson? Thank you for joining and thank you for finding me. Much appreciated. Vinay, Cornet can't finish. Make Antonio look clinical. Don't want him at West Ham. Well, are you going by the penalty? You going generally? You might be right. Ballon again. I've missed your West Ham ramble still. Is this your? It is my new channel. Thank you for finding it. Much appreciated. Whoever you are behind the Ballon Dawson sign. Yeah, it's my new channel. This is where I'll be doing all my shows from here on in. Daniela, if you get to Bussel, you might be able to get a train to Frankfurt. It could be cheaper. Basel. Yeah, there's a number of different ways to get to Frankfurt. Hamret, now that I know you're interested in going, I'll message you and give you some ideas, because flying there is the most expensive. Darren Cornett would have trouble finishing his dinner. So you're not in favour. There were others last week who were. Fulham up another London derby. Fulham are up already. See, they want Areola back. We don't want him to go there. Chris, Moyes should definitely go for Cornet and Pope, Vlasic and all the other dead rubber. Pope, I like Pope. I think he's actually our best English goalkeeper. I really do. And if we get him for 10, if he's available for 10 million, I just think Moyes is looking at, Areola's available for 11 million and he's proven himself. To be quite honest with you, I like Pope, but I know what Areola can do. So I'd probably rather keep Areola. Good evening to you, Long Dark. Thank you for joining, mate. Much appreciated. I hope you're well. Vinay, Antonio is blasting it over the bar and shoot at the keeper. Sign of no confidence. There's something wrong there, isn't there? And like I said, I just wonder I just wonder if maybe he's just trying a little bit too hard. Vinay, finishing is about mentality. It's only 50% skill, and this is it. I just wonder. Ballon, how lucky am I? I fly to Dresden into May for holiday. Europa League finals the 18th, and Sevilla is an hour away, or by pure chance, 2 hours away. Because I'm going to. Oh no, not Sevilla. Where are you going to? Where are you going on your holiday? You haven't said. All by pure chance, but holiday in November. There you go. I'm going to Malaga 2 days before. And have I mentioned it that on the 18th of May, the Europa League finals on the day of my 60th birthday? I mean, what could go wrong? Let's scroll down. 4-0. How the mighty fall, eh? Hammerit. Vinay, they used Jay Lings in a few games lately, haven't they? I think he started the other day, didn't he? Bit too late now, isn't it, really? Let's scroll down a bit more. Epic. Pukki is a Haller type of a striker. I think Haller's a lot better than him, mate. And Pukki's 32 or something, isn't he? He's not. He's not a spring chicken. Chris Tarkowski was solid. Him and Dawes Sheesh would be a brick. Add Zuma and Ogbonna, Cornet, Lingard, Pope, and a strong midfield players. We sure will give the fraud 6 a game. There you go. So some people do like Cornet. Epic. Newman is just a chief scout. Moyes signed Vlasic and Kroll because he's obsessed with hard-working players. We haven't given either of them much of a chance. It's great that Vlasic started. Kroll, he might be coming into his own now that we've got more injuries at the back. Talk about that in a little while. Pigads, if the forwards got injured like the defenders this year, we'd have a good look at Vlasic. Good point. Let's scroll down. Chris Green, good evening to you. 4-0. 4-0. Dabs. I actually think Pope is better than Pickford. I really. It's ironic though, isn't it? Because I don't think Pickford plays that well for Everton, but he does play great for England. I'll give him that. Pat, Areola's on 26 grand a week. That might prove to be a sticking point. Well, Pope is apparently on quite a high salary as well. Look, if we are going that next level, if we are talking about the the Darwin Núñezes and all these 50, 60, 70 million pound players, then we're going to have to pay them a pretty sum of money in wages as well. So Areola, I think we can afford Areola, to be quite honest with you. As much as we love him lately, Yarmolenko on 115 grand a week. There you go. Take that, give that to Areola, job done. Darren, only a few years away from your free bus pass still. Well, I am indeed, and I can't wait, Darren. Not to get older, but to get their free bus pass. Cockney Buccaneer, the more man you drop, the cheaper Lingard will become. Well, Lingard is on a free. Anyway, so there you go. Anthos, good evening to you. I hope you're well. Long time no see. If we don't finish above this manure team, exactly. All to play for. Ashley, rather Pope than Pickford. I agree. PCAS, massive clubs have no problems paying massive wages, and that's what we have to be. We have to be a massive club, haven't we? Chris, 9-0 Liverpool over 2 games. How the fuck did we lose twice to them? I know. It's really, really annoying as well. Clive, we don't sign Areola. There's something seriously wrong with the club. There's nothing wrong with the club. I'm sure. Look. How many times have we thought Moyes has got it wrong? How many times? And he keeps proving us wrong. What do we know? That's why I do this rather than managing West Ham United. Oh, only for one day. Let me manage them for one day. We'll probably get pummeled. James, a couple of years ago, I thought Pope was the best keeper in the Premier League. I haven't changed my mind. Plus, he'll be on a free. I don't know if he will be at the end of this season, and probably about 50 grand a week cheaper. I think he's on a high wage, and I don't think he's on a free either. But I could be wrong. Anthos, I think you're forgetting still that our owners are still a stingy. But this is it, Anthos. I don't actually think that. And I know that goes full of money. Go and spend it. That's how you should treat it, David Moyes. Don't treat it as your own. You tight Scott. Ashley, Antonio's played left back. I don't think he'll be playing left back anytime soon, mate. But good point. He's played everywhere, isn't he? To be fair, Green, Areola's wages are an issue. Are they, though? Are they? I don't know. Keith, we have the option of Areola, so it's irrelevant if Fulham want him. They will only sign him if West Ham don't take up the option on him. Good point, mate. That's a good point. Mark, HH, would like to see the youngsters, but critical time of the season to take a risk. This is it, isn't it? It's critical time. Let's move on because we've got lots more to chat about. Well, I promoted the women's team. They were in the semi-finals of the FA Cup last weekend against Man City, and if anybody went to watch it, um, I'd like to say I hope you had a good time, but we know what happened, don't we? Unfortunately, after losing 2-0 to them in the league the week before, West Ham lost 4-1 to Man City in the FA Cup semi-final at the weekend. Look. The confidence in the West Ham camp was actually quite high. It wasn't to be their day. And to be quite honest with you, they actually didn't play that badly. I know the scoreline suggests otherwise, but they weren't kind of outrun. And it was the first goal for Man City came on the 21st minute against the run of play. And at halftime, despite having played the better, it was 2-1 to Man City. And despite creating a number of chances in the second half, it was City who scored again on the 66th minute, and it kind of killed the game off. And their final goal came in stoppage time to make it 4-1. It was an unfair result. If anybody watched the game or seen the highlights, you'd only see the highlights of 4 goals being smashed in. But it was unfair on them. But great effort for getting so far for the women's team, and it's back to league action next week for the women's team when they face Reading away from home on Sunday. The under 23s were back in action as well against Liverpool, and we got thumped as well on that day. It's their chase for the Premier League 2 title. We thought that going away to mid. I think Liverpool is something like sixth place or something. West Ham were confident that they would get the result they need to keep the chase for the title. The lineup included a very. Oh, I haven't got the lineup, so forgive me for that. The lineup included a very impressive Regan Clayton, who's been promoted from the under 18 squad to the under 23s. And it also included another under 18 star that I've been raving about, Divin Mbama, the striker who was on the bench. Um, we won 5-1 last week against Leeds United in the Premier League Cup. And we thought that was going to be the boost that they needed to get a decent result against Liverpool, but it wasn't meant to be. The lads didn't really get themselves going, but it was still 0-0 at half time, so there was everything to play for. And however, within 5 minutes of the restart, we lost possession, and Liverpool were we lost possession the first time, and Liverpool won 1-0 up, and then a few minutes later, they were 2-0 up. A few changes were made. Divin and Barmer came on, and Thierry Neves, another good attacking midfielder, came on for Kamari Swire and Armstrong on co-flex, who had a surprisingly quiet game for him. That gave us a little bit of a spark, and we looked a lot better going forward. But again, we couldn't find our way through. And then on 69th minute, Liverpool got their third, and it was game over. Look, we did have 2 games in hand on Man City with only 6 points behind them, so we could have closed that gap. Unfortunately, we haven't done that. We've been defeated in both in our last 2 league games, so now we're still 6 points off Man City, and but with no games in hand. But we're still above Arsenal in who are in third place, who are 3 points behind us. So there's still all to play for. We may not win that title, but coming second in that league, and considering that we only just scraped through getting away from being relegated last season, has been a major achievement for the lads, and well done to them. West Ham will play. Everton comes up next on Monday in the league, and then West Ham play Fulham in the quarter-finals of the Premier League Cup at Rush Green on Friday evening with the 7 p.m. kickoff. Um, who else? West Ham under 18s were also in action weren't actually in action at the weekend, but they will face Chelsea at Little Heath Ground at 11 a.m. on Saturday, this coming Saturday. So good luck to them as well. On the same day, league leaders Southampton face Leicester away. A win for West Ham and a defeat to Southampton will see West Ham leapfrog in the under 18s league and go on top. So good luck to them. And I hope the under 23s get back to winning ways. Let's see. Let's go to how far up should we go? I'd rather Pope than Pickford. I've seen that one. Who's the player with the Barnet for manure? Don't know because I'm doing this. Mark, Keith. We have the option. Yeah, got that one. Hammerette. Mark, I know, and I don't think Moyes will, but Alese, let's get rid of that. Alese in for Chelsea game, and let's see what he can do. Alese in for the Chelsea game? I'd like to think so, but I think Moyes is going to stick to his mantra. I think Moyes is going to stick with Fabianski for the Premier League. Pash, our goalkeeping situation will go tits up if we don't sign the nipple. But then who knows? Moyes might have someone else in mind. But Raymond, Pope has the hands of God. Well done, Raymond. Dabs, I feel bad for De Gea and would love him to at West Ham. Yeah, he's not having a great time. I wonder if he thought I should have gone to Real Madrid when they bid for me, what, 3 seasons ago, 4 seasons ago, something like that. Man U lost 4-0. Still think West Ham are in the top four. I don't think we're in the top four conversation, but we are certainly in with a shout for top six. I said myself, I keep cutting out. Do I keep cutting out? Sorry about that, Dabs. I hope. Uh, hang on. I think I know why. Bear with me a second. I hope that helps. Man United lost. I don't think we're in the top core conversation, but certainly top six. I suggested that we'll finish fifth in the league, and there's still a possible chance. We've got to play Arsenal, we've got to play Chelsea, we've got to play Man City, and they're tough games. But if we'll get results from them, you never know. You never know. Daniela, come on, stop saying it's the club's fault for not signing players. Players do have a say in where they play. I think there's a combination of maybe the owners, combination of Moyes, and of course, as you said, Daniela, sometimes players just don't want to sign, especially in January transfer window. Hammerette, I'd love to see Ariel play more games. Can only benefit him surely for our semi-finals. I just don't think another keeper is crucial just yet. Other positions first. I agree with you. Hit that like button. Thank you, Lee. I hope I'm not cutting out anymore. Please let me know. Daniela, if we do get Champions League, we'll be surprised who will sign for us. This is the other thing. Players want to play Champions League, and all of a sudden will be a very attractive proposition. Look, like I said, we're not going to go and win the Champions League, but players want to be in the Champions League, and quite possibly we will get signings that we would have only dreamt of in the past. I meant, Alese, sorry, in for Chelsea. See if he can do a job. I'll get to that. I'm getting to that very, very soon. Anthos. Moyes will get found out when 5 subs are introduced next year. We need to let Jockstrap know that we're allowed more than 1 sub. He doesn't like it. And I bet, out of principle, he'd probably only do 3 subs. I'm not cutting out now. I know why I was cutting out. So thank you for telling me that I was. Much appreciated. Cockney Buccaneer. De Gea is useless when players surround him. Far too weak. He's one of the reasons why Manx is. I think they're struggling because of their defence rather than De Gea. De Gea, you don't become a shit goalkeeper out of the blue all of a sudden. He has been a superb keeper for them all in all. Mark, it's all blurred. Take the plastic off your new cans. Dabs, Cockney Buccaneer, De Gea is Man United's best player so far. There you go. Right. Let's move on to the next part of the show. Getting on to talking about our injury situation in a minute. Yes. Did you see that one of those last images? Arthur might be leaving West Ham. What are we going to do? Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the loan players first off. And Connor Coventry, they're in action again tonight. Oxford versus MK Dons. So do keep me up to date with the score. Last I was told Oxford were winning 1-0. So I can't talk about that game because I'm doing this. Connor Coventry was in action for the MK Dons over the weekend. He played 2 full 90-minute games for them. And they suffered their first defeat in 16 games at the weekend against Sheffield Wednesday. Uncharacteristic for the Dons, who were 3-0 down within half an hour. At 3-1 down in the second half, Connor Coventry tried to get his team back in the game with a long range drive, which struck the bar. However, the game ended with the Dons going down 3-2 defeat, and other results around them resulted in the team dropping to third in the league, but still in a good position to reach the playoffs if they don't get automatic promotion. And there's one lad I'm really happy for, Mipo Odebako. 2 games, 2 goals in the last 2 games he's played in, and I'm really, really pleased for him. I like him. There's a good reason why players like Odebeko have gone out on loan. You know, I think I think there's a talent there, and I know what we saw last season. I still maintain to this day that David Moyes unfortunately didn't use him in the best way possible. If you remember last season, Odebeko, I think, had 2 sub appearances. He came on in, I can't remember who we played against, one of the lower teams in the cup, and he came on for the last few minutes, and didn't have an opportunity to show what he was capable of. And then he came on against Man United in the cup as well, and I didn't think he was doing that badly. It takes time for a young player to sort of get accustomed to the pace of the Premier League, etc. But then Moyes pulled him off again for Yarmolenko, and I felt really, really gutted for him. And then we didn't see any more of him, and you could see that the lad himself looked quite forlorn, but he made a statement after the game saying, "I've got a lot to learn," and blah 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 and all that sort of stuff. He said all the right things. He's finally found his scoring touch for Doncaster Rovers in the last 2 games he's played, and he also created a goal as well in the 2 games as well. Um, Look, I think there's a talent there, and I hope he gets another opportunity because you know you go out on loan, you try and prove yourself, and you either come back and maybe the manager sees something in you, or maybe the manager decides to send you out on loan again to maybe a championship team to sort of do the business. And I'm really, really happy for him that he's played and he's scored. They face Doncaster Rovers play Shrewsbury Town away from home at the weekend, and just like the MK Dons, they found themselves losing by 3 goals to 0. However, Odebeko had several chances only to see his efforts finally saved. But he got his second goal for Doncaster Rovers in that game to set up a fight back. And Odebeko was again in action. Uh, sorry. They lost that game against Shrewsbury, but then they played against who did they play? They played another team because I can't read my writing properly. They played another team, and he actually helped. They were 3-0 down, and he helped them to come back to a 3-3 fight back. All my script is all over the place, so you know what I'm like. I'm just gonna blag it. Odebeko had a good game, and he helped them come back to 3-3. That's all you need to know. Nathan Holland was also on the score sheet at the weekend against Fleetwood. He got his first goal in the second minute of the game, and Oxford were 3-0 up within 16 minutes. The game ended 3-2. Joseph Anang was also in action for St Patrick's Athletic with a rare defeat. They lost to Shamrock 1-0. And Nathan Trott, poor Nathan Trott, for his French club Nancy, lost 2-0 at home, and they are almost definitely going to be relegated to the third tier of French football. Now, Ogbonna was over in Lyon celebrating with the fans and the players after the game. And there's a whole load of speculation as to whether he might come back very soon. Boy, oh boy, do we need him now. I don't want to. He's back in light training, and the end of the season is fast looming. Do we think he's going to make it back for a few games? I really, really, really like to think so, but I got to be honest with you, it seems very, very unlikely. But it was fantastic to see Ogbonna out there in Lyon with the players and celebrating. There are talks about extending his contract. I thought that was already done and dusted, but it's weird that this has come back again. Same as Fabianski. I thought that was done and dusted as well, getting a 1-year extension, but apparently that's still being negotiated. The board have already said that Ogbonna's going to get the 1-year extension, despite the fact that at 33 years of age and sustaining a really bad injury, it looked like it might have been, finished for him. But he will get his 1-year extension, and I think that'll be a fantastic gesture. Now, let's get on to Issa Diop. Now, is he out for the rest of the season? Now, there's a number of conflicting stories about what injury he's got. He's got an ACL or something, Achilles, etc. And we don't know is the honest answer. Now, I've been told from various sources that he definitely is out, and it looks like he might be out even longer than Kurt Zuma might be. So it looks quite serious, and it looks like we've lost yet another centre back. Ogbonna, Zuma, and then Zuma came back and back out, and then injured again, and now Diop. I mean, how's our luck? And people have started going, "Oh my God, we should have bought more players, etc." Look, we know what we should have done in January, but you just can't account for losing three centre backs. You just can't. Maybe the warning signs were there. Before the January transfer window, we lost Ogbonna and we lost Zuma, and I think yes, okay, maybe that should have been the time to actually go out and start looking for replacements in January. And we had options, didn't we? Coletta Carr, etc., etc. But it didn't happen. It is what it is. We're down to one centre back. But are we? Is it just one centre back or one recognised centre back, as people say? Well, I'm not sure because we do have another centre back. Well, we have another couple of centre backs. We actually have quite a number of different options available to us. Strangely so. And looking at the team and just looking at the different connotations that David Moyes can utilise, it actually surprised me at how many different things that Moyes can do in order to accommodate losing Diop. And look, you're all going to have your own opinions. People have already started making suggestions, Alese, etc., etc. So let's go through all the various options that David Moyes has. And the first one is a pretty obvious one because he talked about Declan a few weeks ago, saying, if I need to, we've got players like Declan. I just wonder if this might be David Moyes' favoured choice to put Declan Rice at centre back. And then look, I talked about Kral earlier on, and maybe he might have a role to play, because then maybe Kral can come in at centre mid, or Noble, one or the other, and then the rest of the team doesn't get disrupted so much. You've still got, a pretty decent back line, Soufal. I haven't even included Johnson and Fredericks in this yet. But if you look at it, if you look at let's talk about the next Premier League game against Chelsea. You might say to yourself, that might be a decent backline. But then you could also go for an alternative. You can go for Ben Johnson at the back as well. There's a possibility, but there's a problem there. Ben Johnson, primarily right footed. We know he's done really well as a left back. But how well will he do as a left centre back? Because we know Dawson will struggle on the left side. So if Johnson came in, then maybe you could put him to the left side. But I think that would be a bit of a weakness, to be honest with you. And then, of course, you got Ajibola Alese, a natural left-footed centre back. And as people have been saying in the chat, maybe now's the time to give Alese his opportunity and see what it can do. Look, I like Alese. I've been waxing lyrical about him for quite a long time. 21 years of age, former under-23s coach Dimitri Halachko praised Alese several times when he was in charge of the under-23s, talking about his ability, his versatility, his strength, and his leadership skills as well. Very, very good in the air. 6'4" tall. He's fucking hell. What happened? What makes people grow so tall? I'm only 5'8". Fucking hell, he towers over me. And he's. I just wonder. My head says that maybe it's going to be Declan. And maybe knowing what Moyes is like, maybe that's what Moyes' head is saying as well. And that would be a solid backline. My heart is kind of saying, why not give Alese a chance? And I think as Hammerette alluded to, give him that opportunity, settle him into the team, in preparation for the semi-final and other games that are coming up. He's contracted with West Ham until 2023. He's got an option of a further year. He's very, very highly thought of. He's made England teams as well, up to the under 20 level. He's a decent centre back. He's a decent centre back. And I just wonder whether this might be his time. it will be a risk. It will be a gamble playing a player that's not had a lot of Premier League experience. He's only had 2 outings for the senior team in cup competition against Hull when he made his debut a few seasons ago, and also in the game in the dead rubber against Dinamo Zagreb in the group stages of the Europa League. So he hasn't had enough game time. But I just wonder maybe whether now's the time to maybe put our faith in him and see what happens. Um, and then we've got other options as well. We can put perhaps Aaron Creswell at centre back. We know Aaron Creswell has played as a centre back in a three at the back, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But maybe, not saying definitely, maybe Aaron Creswell at centre back alongside Dawson with Ben Johnson on the left side. And we know that Ben Johnson, he had a terrific game against Lyon at left back last Thursday. So maybe that's another option. And then we got the option of going three at the back. You know, we can put Johnson more naturally suited to the right side, on the right side of Dawson. Dawson in the middle. Creswell, who he's done before quite a few times before, playing as a left centre back. And then you got the likes of Soufal. You can put Fredericks as a right wing back, or Soufal as a right wing back. And then of course you can put Fornals as a left wing back, who's done it and it surprised us all by doing it really, really well. Then you've got other options. You could put Soufal as a right side of a centre back and put Ben Johnson as a right wing back. And again, Fornals as a left wing back, and Creswell, Dawson, and Soufal. By doing that, you kind of take away a little bit from further up the field, but that might be a more balanced formation as well. There's that possibility too. And then you start asking yourself, well, what about some of the other players? What about Masuaku? Does Alese get his chance? Does Fredericks get his opportunities if we adopt a wing back system? Mark Noble, would you put Mark Noble if you drop Declan in the centre back role? Would you play Mark Noble, or does Kral come into it? And others have talked about Kral maybe going in as a centre back. I think that's even a bigger risk. Maybe he would be better off suited to centre midfield alongside his international teammate Souček. So there are a number of options available to David Moyes, more so than we think. Just to reflect, could be that my gut says it's likely to be Declan, and then we can't find a way of making things up in the centre of midfield. Kral or Noble or whatever it may be. You can put Johnson there, but I think this is the least likely option. Putting Ben Johnson as a centre back on the left side, I think that just unbalances things somewhat. Alese, many are saying, give the boy a chance. Why not? Naturally left-footed, strong in the air, decent, very well liked, a good leader on the pitch for the under 23s, etc. Yes, I know it's a massive, massive step up, but then Declan did it, Johnson did it. Maybe this is Alese's turn as well. You could put Creswell there. That you could possibly get away with that. Quite possibly. I don't know what Creswell's like in a back two. We've seen what he's like in a back three, but I'm not so sure what he'll be like in just a back two. So there's a maybe there, because you got Ben Johnson to the left of him as well. And then if you go with the three at the back, all of a sudden you start seeing, as much as people don't like it, you can see a reason for it, because what you're doing is you've got Declan in there, Souček, you've got players supporting Antonio up front as well, and then you got the likes of Fornals and someone like Souček Soufal as wing backs. Or you could do that, swap Soufal and put Ben Johnson there as well. Even that can work. And then, of course, some of the other fringe players, Kral, what happens to him? Does Noble get a start if Declan falls at? Does Kral or Noble get a start if Declan goes in the back? Masuaku, Fredericks, and so on. So there's a number of options there, a number of very, very interesting options. Of course, it could all be a smokescreen, and maybe one of our centre backs might be starting alongside Dawson. Anyway, on Sunday. Who knows? Who knows? But let me know what you think. Let's go into the chat and see what people think of that before I move on, because it obviously is the big topic of the day at the moment. So let's scroll down and see what you guys have to say. Um, Disabled team, good evening to you. I thank you for joining and finding me. Glad you started your adventure on your own. The disabled team, wishing that. Thank you very much. Thank you for finding me. Damien, good evening to you. My backline would be Fredericks, Dawson, Johnson, and Creswell. Fredericks, Dawson, Johnson, and Creswell. So you're opting for Johnson to play as centre back. Interesting. Fredericks, I think it would be more Soufal just to give it a bit more strength there, to be honest with you. That's in my opinion, an attacking wing backs that both Bowen and Fornals perform well with. Yeah, good call. Good evening to you, Trodge. I hope you're well. Well done to Fulham. Congratulations to Fulham. It is, and an away day at Fulham is quite nice when it's not pissing down with rain, of course. What else have we got? Mark, Coventry got to be given his chance next. I think so. I think so. Can you turn that on? I think so. I hope so. We're going to need him. We're going to need a replacement for Mark Noble. Hammerette, Mitch Rich, 40 goals. Yep. Yep. Anthos. Might be wrong, but Moyes played in defence, didn't he? He did, centre back. Time for him to put his boots on. Seems though he doesn't trust any of our other players anyway, so he might as well go on. Dabs. Alese could step up and save us millions. Absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely, he could. Absolutely correct. Jovi. Our first team had the day off today, so Moyes went in and coached our under 16s with Carlton Cole. Fantastic. I've always said Moyes takes a big interest in the academy. You know, he brought the under 23s closer to train closer to the senior squad. He's mixed them in pre-season. He had quite a lot of under 18s and under 23s in pre-season. He knows what's going on there. You know, we all say give Alese a chance, but if Moyes doesn't think it's right, then he has his reasons. I say give Alese a chance as well. James, the two Brazilians and De Gea are the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, which is a contradiction in terms when you think about it. De Gea. De Gea. Trodge, Odebecko's a finisher. He is, and I'm glad. Oxford won 1-0. I'm glad that he got a couple of goals. It given the wealth of confidence there, to be honest with you. Hammerette, Moyes has to keep Yarmo fit enough if Antonio pulls up with his hammy. Yeah, true. But I would have liked to have seen Yarmolenko maybe start on Sunday. I actually, honestly, would have liked to have seen him do so. Not because I've got a downer on Antonio. Just give Antonio a rest. That's all. Anil, could Yarmolenko score another winner again? Well, why not? Why not? Will he start though? Probably not. Anthos, let's hope Fulham buy Masuaku, or else we'll have to pay any other team. Poor Masuaku. I'm sure, you know, he'll prove me wrong where he goes to Fulham. Dabs, whenever I see Forsum play, he always is amazing, never stops running. Totally agree. He's a machine. He really is. And I can't remember the player that played for Chelsea he was likened to. Kante. Likened to Kante in the way he plays. Forgive me if I don't read out every comment. You know I can't. You know, as much as I love to, but it's very, very difficult to do so. Let's scroll down. Dabs, Kral would play centre back over Rice. Do you think so? Would Moyes risk that, considering that Kral hasn't settled in well? Do you think that potentially he would do that? I'm not so sure. I think you're up for Declan over and above Kral, to be honest with you. Long Dark. Yama can play centre back. Are you joking with me, or are you serious? He's tall enough, isn't he? Pat, we will never get away with 12 players still. Did I say, did I put 12 players? Did I? I didn't put 12. I'm going to look at my thing. You know, I'm focusing on the back. Forget what goes on further upfield. Did I really put 12 players on? Damn it. Now, see, now you're going to make me have a look, aren't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't give me that rubbish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 11. 1, 2, 3. No, 11. You're winding me up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't wind me up, Pat. Hammerette, I can't see Kral playing another minute for us myself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anthos, we'll miss Declan's that runs forward. Moy sticks. We know we will. We know we will. but it will keep us solid. We've been conceding goals again. We haven't kept a clean sheet for quite some time. Pat put Antonio at right back. Might do well. He might do well. Krala's Cockney, yeah, he has played at centre back, but I just wonder if it might be a little bit too much of a risk for Moyes to play him at centre back in the Premier League. It's not worth it. Good evening to you. Subscribe. Good luck. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and thank you for finding me. Chris, good evening to you. Declan won't go in at the back. He carries the midfield on and off the ball. Creswell could do a job at centre back in a back five, which I also hope doesn't happen. No way will he put Alese. No experience. See, it's great that we've all got our different opinions, and maybe if Creswell does go in at the back, I think we will revert to a back three or a back five. Dabs, we desperately need pace at the back, and Alese is really quick. There you go. So you've all got good opinions. None of them are wrong. To be honest with you. Clive, Buccaneer Kral only plays well in the Czech League. Well, we don't know that, do we, Clive? We don't know that. We don't know. He's not really been given an opportunity to really shine. Kidderminster, one off. We all played badly in that game, didn't we? Keith, I think Rice will play centre half. Lanzini will play in midfield with Souček Lanzini playing alongside. Souček, when Rice was injured and played really well there, he did, and that's my thinking. Because we have been without Declan for 1 or 2 games this season, and Lanzini has played fantastically well in that position. Could be Lanzini, might be Noble, might even be Kral as well. Let's scroll down. Cockney Buccaneer. I'm 6'4". Pick me, Moyes. You lanky git. Chris Green. I don't think Declan. We will lose too much in the centre of midfield. Keep your best player in his best position and all that. 3 at the back with Dawson in the middle. Krez and Johnson either side. Sue Fallon for now's on the wing. There you go. Hammerette. Rice is too much of a key player to move him from his best placed position. Could see Moyes going with a nil suggestion. Cressy, Johnson, Dawson, and Sufal for safety first, although I want to see Alese. Dabs, we may have an advantage because Chelsea won't have a clue what our lineup will be. For once, that is actually true, isn't it? For once, people will not know who's going to get picked. We don't know. I think at the moment Moyes is sitting in his apartment or house or wherever he lives going, what the fuck am I going to do on Sunday? No, I'm sure he's got it all sorted out. Darren, if Alese can't get a game time now, considering he's our under-23s captain, I wouldn't be surprised to see him ask for a transfer in the summer. I think if he doesn't, there'll be. I said it in last week's show. I think there are going to be a couple of players from the under-23s that are going to go out on loan next season. Alese might be one of them. If we go and buy a centre back in the transfer window, then I can see Alese going out on loan, and then maybe coming back in time for when Ogbonna retires the season after next, and then Alese coming in for him. Dabs, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So basically, don't change Rice's system. Yeah, good point. It's not worth it. Apparently, Kral has played lots as a centre back. He hasn't always been a midfielder. Could be a good move if he impresses in training. Good shout. Good shout. Hammerette, Chelsea will be worried. Can you imagine doing the double over them this season? Calm your pants, but it will be great. Jay Woods, good evening to you. Alese deserves a chance. Let's see if he can handle the pressure. Need Declan as a midfielder. Otherwise, we will get steamrolled. I don't think we will because someone, can't remember who said it, made the comment about, Lanzini's played well there. And Lanzini against a team like Chelsea, I think will do better than a team who's quite aggressive. So if we had Lanzini in centre of midfield, only alongside Souček, I would be worried because Burnley, teams like Burnley, etc., are quite sort of physical teams. But against Chelsea, he might actually do okay. He might actually do okay. Jovi, I agree with the others. If not Alese now, then when? He has to start. Have faith in the lad. Yeah, I get that too. Ray, play the under-23, take a chance and rest them. What are we going to go for? Are we still going for the Premier League as far as we can go, as well as Europa League? Or do we say forget the Premier League and just focus on the Europa League? It's got to be both. Because if you falter in one, at least you've got the other to keep going on for. Cockney Buccaneer, I wouldn't play Kral, even though he was played there for his country. Yuha, I wish we would give youngsters a try in the Premier League and play Rice at the back in Europe. That time is gone, isn't it? I think that's the unfortunate thing. I don't think we had one under 23 player in the on the bench for the first time in a very long time at the weekend, and then we go and lose Diop. There you go. How's our luck? Hammerette, how lucky are we that we're in the position that are dropping like flies in is the one position we four recognised players for? Yeah, ha- really bad luck. Really bad luck. Daniela, whoever plays there, we just need to get behind the team and support them. Bang on. Absolutely agree. Yuha, have to play Masuaku against Chelsea? No, we don't. Michael, Alese and Longelo, drop Lanzini for Ben Rama, drop Antonio and leave Bone up front. It's quite a lot of changes there, Michael. Longelo, he had a long. The reason why he disappeared for a long time is because he had an injury in the under 23s, and he's only recently just come back. Alese, I like the boy, but is it a gamble? Yeah, it probably is. Drop Lanzini for Ben Rama? Yeah, Lanzini didn't really have the best of games at the weekend. Benrahma needs his confidence back. Drop Antonio. I think Antonio needed the rest against Burnley. Bring him on later in the game, but that didn't happen either. Um, don't read this. Too late. Already done. Good evening to you, Forge and Ryans. I hope you're well. Thanks for joining. I've got to scroll down because I'm on to the last part of the show. We need to capitalise on these drop points by this lot now. Moyes needs to be bold, not just speak about it, but do it. I wonder what sort of game we're going to get at the weekend against Chelsea. We might have no choice but to just go for it. Creswell, Johnson, Dawson, Sufal, job done. Talked about that. Maybe. Can't Socek play at centre back? He's tall enough, but I actually don't know. Who else we got? Pash Beats. Hold on, guys. I've just realised that reaching the Europa Cup final comes at a price. We have to beat a German sausage over two legs. I'm not getting involved. Get involved. Chris, great show as usual. Thank you very much, Chris. Much appreciated. Hammerette, let's just hope Frankfurt don't manage to get tickets. Then no way. It's apparently not even going to go to general sale from what we're being told. And we're fast, now season ticket holders can only get two more additional tickets, but they will not get any tickets in our end. Absolutely no way. They're not going to. Apparently, in Barcelona, season ticket holders were selling tickets as a protest to Frankfurt fans. Can you see us doing that? No. Dabs, I'm ready to watch Alese pocket Havertz and Werner. Yeah, and Chris, I agree with you. We have to go for both competitions. Absolutely agree. James, how much I don't like Rice playing at the back. I think it's what Moyes will do, but it might allow Socek time to move forward. Well, ironically, it will mean Socek will sit deeper, which he has done when Declan has been out of the team a couple of times this season. Cockney, why would Moyes put Alese on the bench if you're never going to play him when the time arises? Really good point. Really, really good point. How long is Zuma out for, Keith? We don't know. But might get a surprise at the weekend. You never know. Watch this space. Let's scroll down. Vinay, Moyes doesn't know how to handle Benny. He just destroys his confidence. In that, I do agree. Unfortunately, I do agree. Ray, it's going to be tough. Whatever we do, it is going to be tough. But this is where the squad comes into its own, isn't it? This is where the squad now, squad players now show what they can do. And you know what? They've surprised us all, haven't they? When a squad player has been called upon throughout the season, they've surprised us all. Even Diop before his injury. How many people sort of talked about? It's funny on the train on the way to Lyon. We were on the train from Paris to Lyon, and we bumped in. I know we were on the Eurostar before that, and we bumped into some young lads who were going to watch the game. And I sort of asked them, what do you think? And we went, oh, we're going to lose, aren't we? And why'd you say that? Diop, like immediately Diop, and they thought, that we were just going. They were going out there for the jolly. But so every time we've called on Moyes' squad, called on the squad players, they've produced. So you're right, it is going to be tough, but this is where the squad players have really got to show up. NWO, Benny, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Benny hasn't been producing. He hasn't been. But then nor's Antonio. But, people aren't getting on Antonio's back as much as they are Benny. And like I keep saying, Benny's a confidence player. You can see that. Antonio needs to calm down. I know he was trying to get his goal, but sometimes do what's best for the team, pass it. And he had a couple of opportunities to do so in the game against Burnley at the weekend. Vinay, how many more points will West Ham have if Ariola start in the Premier League? Martin, heavy defeats against Chelsea and Arsenal. We no. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept that we're going to be defeated heavily by these teams. Chelsea are on a high. Chelsea are doing good. Arsenal have been doing well, but they've faltered just lately as well. No, I refuse to accept that we'll have heavy defeats against them. Anthos, valiant effort still. Even a Jap robot couldn't can't do as well as you. Thank you for that, Damien. Right on. We really need to go for it if we want to stay in Europa. Yeah, we need to go for every competition. We can't just focus on one competition or another. Look what happened to Lyon, 10th in the league. Eintracht Frankfurt, going to talk about them in a minute, 10th in their league. Their focus is also on Europa League, and they've lost their way in their leagues. We're going for both. Look at us, 7th place. We're going for both, and with such a small squad. Vinay, Benny is third highest goal scorer and one of our top assisters. That's the statistics. He's lost his way, but then so have one or two other players over the season as well. Right, okay, let's go on to the next part of the show, shall we? And as you people have said, let's get the slide up if I can find it. It ain't there, but it is. No, it ain't there either, but it is here. As you've already mentioned, David Moyes was spotted at the Millwall versus Hull game at the weekend on Bank Holiday Monday. Now, look, we've been linked to Keane Lewis Potter for quite a considerable amount of time, who plays for Hull. But there has been another name linked to us over the past sort of week or so, which is 21-year-old centre back Dijon Bernard. Now, Dijon Bernard is a Man United Youth Academy player. He's out on loan at the moment to Hull City. But if David Moyes wanted to go and see him at the weekend, he would have been disappointed because the player was on the bench, as far as I'm aware. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. And apparently he's been on the bench for quite a few weeks. So did he go to see Dijon Bernard? I'm not so sure, to be quite honest with you. I think it's more likely he went to see this young lad, Keane Lewis Potter. Um, I've talked about Potter several times in the past. He's a versatile player, but someone who can really add pace and spark to our front line. He can play across all the front line, and he's been quoted as being the next Jared Bowen. He just happens to play on the different side of him. So, right-footed Jared Bowen. I take him, wouldn't you? He seems like a very, very good player. And David, look, Hull didn't win at the weekend, but hopefully he saw enough of Lewis Potter, if he really is interested in him, to make a bid for the player in the summertime. Right, already been mentioned. Is Arthur leaving? Is Arthur on his way out? Could we see the last of the man who never gives the ball away? Well, always gives the ball away. Apparently Fulham, they're looking to sign Arthur Masuaku. Congratulations to them. They've just been promoted as well. Look, Marco Silva, he knows Arthur. He worked with him at Olympiacos before we bought him from the Greek club. True or not, I don't know. It's possible. Marco Silva bringing Fulham back up, associated with Arthur Masuaku from the past. It's possible. But Fulham have already got a decent left back, 24-year-old Anthony Robinson, who was apparently linked to us in the past as well. So I doubt maybe they want Arthur as backup, because maybe we know he can't play as a left back, so I doubt that very much. Maybe he wants Arthur as a left winger, maybe. But then they've got a Fulham player, Neeskins Cabano, 30-year-old left winger, who scored 9 goals and 7 assists this season. So it's not as if they're short on either a left back or a left winger. Who knows? Let's see. And then spoke about him already, Krul. Story came out that apparently there's a decision to be made at the end of the season whether we keep Alex Krul or not. Until we heard about Diop's injury, I would have said there wasn't a decision to make. The decision probably already had been made. But then I wonder why David Moyes didn't let him go back to Spartak Moscow during the transfer window in January. It was before the Ukraine war, etc. So there wasn't that issue to contend with. But David Moyes kept hold of him. And I just wonder, maybe, as already spoken about, maybe this might be Kroll's time. I don't know. As a centre back, I think not. But if Declan does fall into centre back position, possibly, possibly Kral might come in alongside his Czech Republic compatriot Souček and control the midfield for us. Who knows? Right, let's move on to the last part of the show, shall we? Eintracht Frankfurt, next team up in Europa League semi-final, and we have history with them as well. Those old enough to know or remember will know that we met them in the semi-finals of the Cup Winners' Cup semi-finals in 1976 when we beat them to play Anderlecht in the final of that competition. Right, a little bit about Eintracht Frankfurt. They play at the Deutsche Bank Park Stadium, which was opened in 1925 and had a number of enhancements and changes. And boy, oh boy, is it a beautiful stadium. I thought that the Lyon Stadium was lovely. I really did. I thought it was a beautiful stadium. The Seville Stadium was all right, a little bit too open, but it was beautiful on the outside, not so beautiful on the inside. But this stadium, the Deutsche Bank Park Stadium in Frankfurt, is superb. 51,000 seater capacity. It's located to the southwest of Frankfurt Centre. It's about 5.3 kilometers away from the city centre. And getting there, you can drive there. It's close to a couple of main roads and motorways, which means you can get great access to the stadium itself. And we know how efficient the Germans are. From the actual city itself, there's lots of public transport, which you can get the train. You can get a train, you can get a tram, you can get a bus to the stadium with ease, and your match ticket gets you to the stadium free of charge. What more can you say? What more can you say? Frankfurt's central location makes it one of the main transport hubs in Europe, meaning that it's all very well connected both nationally and internationally. So if you're getting the train there, the bus there, the coach there, the plane there, whatever, you can go to Frankfurt directly. You can go to various other cities in Germany or around Germany and get to Frankfurt with ease. It was founded. The club was founded in 1899. The Frankfurt Football Club Victoria of 1899, which was an early spin-off of the oldest Frankfurt Football Club. From the 1920-21 season, Eintracht played its home games in the stadium that they're at now. And during this time, Eintracht received support from the Jewish owners of the Frankfurt shoe factory, J.C.A. Schneider. While Eintracht was regarded as a liberal and cosmopolitan club before the Nationalist Socialists came to power, also because Jewish functionaries, athletes, and sponsors contributed to success, it cooperated with the new regime without resistance after 1933. Amongst the five functionaries who participated in the Nazi system of rule were the football star and later honorary president Rudolf Gramlich and the well-known athlete Adolf Metzner. I can't say I've heard of either of them, but then I'm reading from what I've only downloaded today. In 1963, Frankfurt was one of the founding members of the Bundesliga, and and in their first season, they were third and vice cup winners after a 2-0 cup win, final 2-0 cup final against TSV Munich. In 1971-72 season, Eintracht qualified for the first time for the UEFA Cup, which was introduced in that same season. And on 21st of May 1980, Eintracht Frankfurt won the UEFA Cup under coach Friedel Rausch. And despite qualifying for European competitions in the 90s, Frankfurt were relegated from the Bundesliga in 1996. And then in latter years, 2016 onwards, saw a period of sustained success where the club, back in the Bundesliga, were winners of the DFB Club and qualifying for Europe regularly. Their fan scene in Frankfurt is considered to be one of the most active in Germany, and it's got more than 750 official fan clubs. How many official fan clubs do we have? Is it just the one? That fan club was founded since the end of the 1960s and today have around 50,000 members. The fan clubs are represented by the Eintracht Frankfurt Fan Club Verband. And influential groups in the Frankfurt fan scene are the Ultras Frankfurt UF97, founded in 1997, and the Fan and Promotion Department, founded in 2000, and the Nordwest Curve Frankfurt, one of the strongholds of Frankfurt's Eintracht Frankfurt is the city of Dreich, which is located 11 kilometers from Frankfurt city centre. So lots of fan clubs. We saw that they took over the new camp as well. Certain players to look out for: Rafael Borre, 9 goals, 6 assists this season. Jesper Lindstrom, 5 goals, 9 assists. Filip Kostic, 7 goals, 13 assists. Daichi Kamada, 7 goals, 3 assists. And Goncalo Paciencia, 4 goals and 1 assist. I'll do a little bit more about key players in a separate show later on this week. Club honours: German champions once, DFB Cup winners 5 times, UEFA Cup winners once, second division Bundesliga champions once, head-to-head with West Ham United, as I've already mentioned. 2-1 for Frankfurt in the first leg, 3-1 to West Ham United, which many say was one of the greatest nights at the Boleyn or the old Upton Park ever held. Our head-to-head. So let's look at them first. Their league position at the moment is 10th. They played, that should say Bundesliga, but you know what I mean. Played 30 games, won 10, drawn 9, lost 11, 40 goals scored, 42 goals against, -2 goal difference. In the Europa League, they played 10, won 6, drawn 4, lost none. Goals for, 17, goals against, 11, difference of 6. They have a very similar very similar stats to what Lyon had before we met them in the first leg of the quarterfinals. Our league position, 7th, played 33, won 15, drawn 7, lost 11, 52 goals scored, 43 against, 9 goal difference. So we have a better goal difference than them. We have a better league position than them from the Premier League to their Bundesliga. Europa League, played 10, won 6, drawn 2, lost 2. Slightly worse stats there, but goals for 17, which matches them, but we've given away less goals. They've given away 11 goals in the Europa League, and we've given away just 5. A goal difference of 12 for us, a goal difference of 6 for them. So it's going to be all to play for. It's going to be an interesting game. Looking forward to it. Tickets are already on sale. People have been saying they're looking forward to getting their tickets. Do get on it and get your tickets for the first leg. And anyone that's going out there, of course, it'd be fantastic to see you out there, have a drink at a bar, etc., etc. So that's it. I'll do more on Eintracht Frankfurt later in the week when I've got a bit more time to do it. But that's the end of the show. And thank you all for watching, and thank you all for joining in the chat. So let's finish off with the last few comments. Lewis Potter, Dabs is the perfect player for Moyes. Young, quick, drops back and helps the defence, works hard, and he can score as well. NWO, Barca can't defend, made Berlin look better than they are. Fulham are after Arthur. We've talked about that, Ashley. Who else we got? Dabs. If Masuaku goes to Fulham, I'll be happy for him because it will benefit him. Imagine he'll go there and he'll smash it and he'll prove me wrong. So there you go. Hammerette, the only player I think should go in the summer who should still be under contract with us is Masuaku. Think he'd suit Fulham, and good luck to him. At least he will get some game time. Anthos, if we get Potter, someone needs to tell the lad he'd be subbed every game. It will take 5 years to bet him into the first team. NWO, massive Chelsea goal, Yama Euro goal. They deserve statues. James, I think Moyes does see a future for Areola. Why start him in all cup competition? I think he does. I think Areola's asked to keep. To be honest with you, I really do. I'd be very very surprised if we don't keep him. Let's see who else. Ray, you going? Thank you for watching, mate. Really really appreciated. Thank you, indeed. 1925 did that. WO. No, well, as you saw, their history originally run by supported by a Jewish company. Let's scroll down. G1, good evening to you. Well, it's Stel. Good to have you back. I love late night streams. Thank you for watching, G. It's on a new channel though, mate. So do subscribe, please, people. Do hit the like button. Do hit the subscribe button. This is my new platform now. I don't do shows anywhere else. It will only be the West Ham boys. So please do subscribe. Otherwise, you won't get to see me. And imagine not having Stel in your life. P. Gads, I'm trying to come up with a joke about Dawson having Frankfurt in his pocket. Keep going, mate, because I can't think of one. Hammerette, Pope is the nuts at stopping shots. I agree, Bong, but he distributes like Fabs. You guys are still talking about goalies. I moved on from that ages ago. G again, keeping goals out is a bigger concern than distribution. I'd argue, but horses for courses. I'd take Pope if fee and wages are favourable. Depends who offers better value to me. For me, it's Areola. I think Areola has smashed it this season. Alfie. Hey, Stel, watching now from beginning. Hope you're well. For me, the only option is Alese. Hope to meet you at Arsenal. Do come and say hello. I love it when people come up and say hello to me. And I had a number of people come up and say hello, over the last few weeks. And I keep forgetting people's names. So it ain't because I'm, just not interested, but I keep forgetting people's names. So if you see me, do come and say hello, and I'll try and give you a shout out like I tried to do the two lads. I'm going to try and see because I wrote them down. Hang on, if I can find them. Can I find them? No, I can't. So there you go. That shows how shit I am. My memory is awful. If I don't write everything down, I do forget. So if you see me, Alfie, come over and say hello. Let's scroll down. Michael, who offers value for money, Areola or Yarmolenko? Well, Yarmolenko's done the business as well, let's not forget. But yeah, Areola for me. Anil, Frankfurt are unbeaten in the competition. They are, but so were Lyon at the time. So there you go. There you go. Let's scroll down. Daniela, good night to you lovely people. Won't be around on Sunday playing a cricket game in Cambridge. Hope you win. Thank you for watching, Daniela, as usual. Much appreciated. Mihailo, good evening to you. Good luck with the new. Thank you very much, Mihailo, and thank you for finding me. Do hit that subscribe button, please. Adam, thank you. Good show. Thanks for you for joining, Adam. Much appreciated. G, I think it'd be unfair to compare with Yama as he was signed under a previous wasteful regime. Areola and his demands need to fit into the current structure. I think we will keep Areola. Grassam, good evening to you. Good show, Stel. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Hammer Mulder, afternoon from LA. Good afternoon to you, Hammer Mulder, and I hope you're well. Sam Dunkey, Irons, come on, mate. Good evening to you as well. Who else we got? Damien. Really enjoy your show. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Damien. Much appreciated. Martin, great show. Good to have you back, band back. It's a different channel, but thank you for joining, Martin. Much appreciated. Oh, if you mean the band as in that the people in the chat, it is wonderful to see a lot of familiar faces. It really is. Thank you for that. Hammerette, when's your YouTube channel going to start? Yeah, you're on Clive's one, aren't you, Hammerette? When is the next show? I'm never going to promise. I want to do at least another one show. It's what is it? Tuesday to. I want to do at least another one show this week. But if you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell button, then you'll get an alert. I hope you all got your alerts today because I was quite worried that you didn't get them last time. But do hit the subscribe button and the bell button as well. James, are you going to have live phone-ins? It's something I've doubled with in the past. Oh, that would be interesting. Let me have a think about it, James. Let me have a think about it. Press a like, man. Great show. Thank you. That's it. That's my lot. I've done 2 hours. Good grief, 2 hours. Thank you all again. Much appreciated. I don't have an end video because it wouldn't bloody well load. So I'm just going to have to go just like that. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciated. Let's get a win at Chelsea at the weekend. Keep our top 6 hopes going. Thank you all. Much appreciated. And have a good night.